Hello, welcome back to the channel. Let's get cracking on part two. We're diving into chaos magic. My name is Keith, your guys' man of letters, here to bring you knowledge, information, hopefully at the very least a bit of entertainment. Hopefully we can make your day a little bit better. And we have our invocations. We will either be reading and tearing into some chaos magic, or I will just be providing you a moment of respite from the chaos of your world. We are on Invocation, page 39 of Liber Null and the Psychonaut by Peter Carroll. Yes, by Peter Carroll. So far, so good. We have learned about introduction to sigil making. We have learned proper meditation techniques, and not simply meditations, but meditations to strengthen meditations. We've been working on our push-ups and our cardio before we dive into the heavy hitting ritualistic side of chaos magic. If you're just tuning in and you're not necessarily sure what chaos magic is not magic that deals in chaos. It's a huge misnomer. I'm gonna start a petition. All in favor, comment below saying aye. All in favor, say aye. We need to change the name of chaos magic because it's not dealing with chaos. Chaos magic is simply called that because it's exceptionally eccentric, and it pulls from everything and everywhere. It pulls from whatever religion necessary. They take what they need. The chaos magician leaves the rest. Buddhism, paganism, any sort of shamanism from all over the world, Hermeticism, alchemy, and all the various subsets thereof. The chaos magician leans heavily into the study of psychology and the human mind, which is wonderful because that's sort of my area of interest, we'll say, is the psychology of the mind, the scientific, physically verifiable aspects of the mind that tie into the occult and the esoteric and all our favorite learnings and musings in this entire genre of study. Just Rena Bina, hello Rena Bina, hello says T. Nice to see you guys. Everyone hit the like button for me so we can crack the code and get as many people as possible in here and slowly grow the empire and slowly grow the empire. Sorry if my phone cut off, my dad was calling me. What are you guys drinking? Water? Tea? You guys having any adult beverages? I'm having a homemade pumpkin adult beverage that I made from homemade pumpkins. Cheers. I hope that you guys' holidays have been fantastic. I hope you're getting all the love, and let's get into it. We will start reading. Water and hot tea, I like it. Just Rena Bina, I like it. What kind of tea you drinking? I've been drinking white sage. I have a beautiful white sage plant that I grew from seed, and she's beautiful and healthy, vivacious, and I've been making some wonderful teas from that. Anywho, we are getting into invocation. Let us begin tonight's reading. The ultimate invocation, that of Keyth, cannot be performed. The paradox is that as Keyth has no dualized qualities, there are no attributes by which to invoke it. To give it one quality is merely to deny it another. As an observant dualistic being once said, "I am that I am not. I am that I am not." Nevertheless, the magician may need to make some rearrangements or additions to what he is. Metamorphosis may be pursued by seeking that which one is not, and transcending both in mutual annihilation. Alternatively, the process of invocation may be seen as adding to the magician's psyche any elements which are missing. It is true that the mind must be finally surrendered as one enters fully into chaos, but a complete and balanced psychocosm is more easily surrendered. The magical process of shuffling beliefs and desires attendant upon the process of invocation also demonstrates that one's dominant obsessions or personality are quite arbitrary and hence more easily banished. Neighbor's dog decided to start barking right now. Well, come on in, come on in, come on in, everyone. Take your shoes off, stay a while. Mi casa es su casa. There are many maps of the mind, psychocosms, most of which are inconsistent, contradictory, and based on highly fanciful theories. Many use the symbology of god forms, for all mythology embodies a psychology. A complete mythic pantheon resumes all of man's mental characteristics. Magicians will often use a pagan pantheon of gods as the basis for invoking some particular insight or ability, as these myths provide the most explicit and developed formulation of particular ideas extant. However, it is possible to use almost anything from the archetypes of the collective unconsciousness to the elemental qualities of alchemy, which is this is crucial to understand about the philosophy of chaos magic. You don't have to be Keyth. You don't have to be a worshiper of Thoth or of Jesus or of Kukulkan or of any particular animal totems. The reason why those are so helpful is because they have well-developed personalities. That sounds like a big helicopter. What is that? It's shaking the floor. Spooky. The reason why it's helpful to look towards astrology or to look towards shamanism or paganism is because those ideas, those caricatures, those mythologies are well established not only in your psyche, but in the totality that is all human consciousness. It's locked within us all. So when I say something like Thoth the Atlantean to a practitioner of the occult, it's going to come with a whole slew of attributes, characters. Oh, he was the god of magician, the god of the moon. He taught us writing and he taught us some magical arts and came from Atlanta. Like he's got a story, a mythology behind him, which reinforces the mind power, if you can put those associations together. Point being, I hope you guys are taking notes, because you should be. At least take them for me, please. Someone should take notes for me, for us, and write them down in the Discord so we can keep up. That would be awesome. Can we have a volunteer? Oh, Rusty, hello. Nice to see you, Rusty. Hello, Mr. Hello, Mr. R. Yeah, don't make me use ChatGPT for notes. I guess I could read this twice after I'm done reading it to you guys. I probably should anyways. Anywho, let's continue. If the magician taps a deep enough level of power, these forms may manifest with sufficient force to convince the mind of the objective existence of the god. Yet, the aim of invocation, which is what we're learning about right now, the aim of invocation is temporary possession by the god, communication from the god, and manifestation of the god's magical powers, rather than the formation of religious cults. If you want to form your own religious cult, though, run it. The actual method of invocation may be described as a total immersion in the qualities pertaining to the desired form. One invokes in every conceivable way. The magician first programs himself into identity with the god by arranging all his experiences to coincide with its nature. In the most elaborate form of ritual, he may surround himself with the sounds, smells, colors, instruments, memories, numbers, symbols, music, poetry suggestive of the god or of the quality itself. Secondly, he unites his life force to the god image with which he has united his mind. This is accomplished with techniques from the gnosis. Figure 5 shows some examples of maps of the mind. Following are some suggestions for practical ritual invocation. And then it shows the yin and yang symbol. It shows the tree of life. It shows astrology. It shows, I don't know what that is. Oh, the alchemical, the 4 alchemical cardinal points. I don't know what that is. What is that? Oh, the 8 Taoist trigrams. I've never seen that before. And you let us continue. I feel very rough from the x-rays and MRI. Oh, man. I'm drinking homemade pumpkin juice, if you know what I mean. Cheers, everyone. Our autumn saison. What are y'all drinking? Awesome locks. Oh, thank you, John. Much love, respect, and good vibes. Oh, Seattle? All my love from Southern California. All of my love from Southern California. I love the Northwest. I love the deep, dark woods. Oh, man. So let us continue. This is an example invocation of the war god. The initiate stands in a pentagonal chamber lit. I almost forgot how much I detest the dogs in the neighbor's backyard. I almost forgot. It's been a while. It's been a while. How loud are the dogs? Should I run it anyways? Is it as distracting for you as it is for me? Yes, that goes for many deities or avatars you can choose as representation. So this is an example invocation of the war god. The initiate stands in a pentagonal chamber lit by 5 red lamps. He is robed in crimson and the skin of a great bear or wolf. He is girded about with weapons of steel, and an iron crown or helmet adorns his head. He has prepared his body by fasting, by rigors, by scourging, and by stimulants. He has constantly turned his mind to things of Mars during the preparation. He casts sulfur, oak, and accretes resin into thurible and anoints his body with tiger balm. He beats a martial air upon a drum to open the temple, or else fires a loud weapon into the air. He has banished all foreign influences from the mind by what means he may, a pentagram ritual being preferred. Drawing blood from his right shoulder with a dagger, he traces the sigil of Mars on his breast and the eye of Horus on his brow. With a sharp sword, he draws the symbol of Mars about him in his mind's eye in lines of crimson fire and visualizes himself in the form of the god Horus. I know. Hey, this is chaos magic, Rusty utter. So yes, Tiger Bomb. Unless Tiger Bomb is an ancient sort of thing that's been made for a long time, someone's gonna have to Google that for us. Then he begins his war dance while an assistant, if he has one, continues to beat the rhythm, apply the scourge, or discharge firearms. Martial music may be played by some machine as he dances wildly to his god he chants. Io Horus, Horus, Horus to me come. Jeberatsarpe, thou art me, Horus, I am thee, Horus. This he continues until the god taketh him into an ecstasy. Note that any of these props can be dispersed with by anyone whose Keyth flows steadily into the willed artifacts of imagination. There is no limit to the inconceivable experiences into which the intrepid psychonaut may wish to plunge himself. There are some ideas for constructing a latter-day Black Mass as a blasphemy against the gods of logic and rationality. The great mad goddess Chaos, a lower aspect of the ultimate ground of existence in anthropomorphic form, can be invoked for her ecstasy and inspiration. Drumming, leaping, and whirling in free-form movement are accompanied by idiotic incantations. Forced deep breathing is used to provoke hysterical laughter. Mild hallucinogens and disinhibitory agents, such as alcohol, are taken together with sporadic gasps of nitrous oxide gas. Dice are thrown to determine what unusual behavior and sexual irregularities will take place. Discordant music is played and flashing lights splash onto billowing clouds of incense smoke. A whole maelstrom of ingredients is used to overcome the senses. On the altar, a great work of philosophy, preferably by Russell, lies open, its pages fiercely burning. Russell is what they're putting on the altar, eh? What's cracking, alchemy? Very interesting. The dogs are the chaos, Ellen, thank you. Saturn, the god of death, might be invoked in the following manner. The initiate first prepares himself by fasting, sleeplessness, and exhaustion. He retires to chamber which is in near total darkness, being illuminated only by 3 sticks of a resinous, cloying, musty incense. He weighs his own body down by wrapping sheets of lead around his limbs, trunk, and head. Sheets of lead? Rusty? When I've done MRIs before, I usually go into a deep meditative trance. They put that weight on your body and put you in that machine and like ka-dung, dung, 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 dung. It's almost meditative in a way, if you can get to that point. Anywho, otherwise his body is cold and naked. To a slow, monotonous drum beat, he conducts a mock burial of himself. With extreme caution, he may take small quantities of atropine like solanum alkaloids. Whoa, those are your, which is why it says small quantities and with extreme caution. Atropine, solanum alkaloids are your devil's trumpet, your datura, gypsum weed. That's what it's talking about. Man, those dogs have been fine all day. Golly, give me a break. I tried. They left me fully exposed this time. Oh, man. Well, one more page. Then he meditates on himself in the aspect of a corpse or skeleton arising, slowly from the tomb in a tattered, winding sheet and assuming his scythe of office. In works of invocation, nothing succeeds like excess. I like that. If you remember anything on your own personal rituals, remember, in works of invocation, nothing succeeds like excess. Nothing succeeds like excess. We'll take a break till those ridiculous dogs stop barking. Rachel Stevens, hello, welcome, welcome. Come on in, take your shoes off, everyone. Mi casa es su casa. Cheers. We're continuing Peter Carroll's reading of Liber Null and the Psychonaut. Sounds like the self-invitation ritual. It sounds like a few things, right? Hello, everyone. My name is Keith. If you're just tuning in and you're new, say hello. Do I have any new people in the room? Hi, new people. Even if you're watching this after the video posts, hello, people watching this in the future. This is Keith in the past. I don't have much to tell you because you already know what's happened as far as like lottery numbers and stuff. But I will say you found yourself in a good spot, and I hope you catch a live next time. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can come chill with the squad and learn how to invocate Hermes Trismegistus, aka Jehudi, aka Thoth, the Atlantean, and manifest global forests around the earth. Sky Beauty, how's it going, Sky Beauty? Cheers, Rachel. Also known as Dave. Hello, Dave. How's it going? My name's Keith. Well met. Sky Beauty, are you new too? Hello, Sky Beauty. Cheers and welcome. Bienvenue. Bienvenidos. That's all, and welcome. Those are the only 3 languages I know how to say welcome in. I think. What's German? I think I might know German. I knew German at one point. And Swedish. I had a whole bunch of Swedish friends and a few Swedish lovers at one point in my life. Anywho. We had a big Swedish program here at my university. Liberation. Who's ready for the next chapter? We're welcome. Welcome. There you go. I was like, I feel like the Germanic languages are pretty close to English, right? Welcome. Hey, no, I've been watching for years. I have your book. Oh, you have the book, Sky Beauty? You guys want to do a live reading of my book sometime? If you don't have my book, y'all should buy it and leave a review on Amazon to hype us up, please. Anywho, willkommen in German. Oh, there it is. Willkommen. Okay, let's continue. We're on chapter. It's not really chapters. We're on the next section, which is liberation. Liberation from. Probably liberation into the chaos. Just as the dog starts up. Breathe, Keyth. Breathe. In creating life out of the primeval slime, chaos has always sought to increase its possibilities of expression and to diversify its manifestations. During the evolution of life, there have been many stagnant periods and some reversals. But overall, the inherent superiority of the most flexible, adaptable, inclusive, and complex creatures, cultures, men, and ideas always wins out complexity. To seek these qualities is to achieve more liberation than any bizarre feat or renunciation or reorganization of political power is likely to create. It is a mistake to consider any belief more liberated than another. It is a possibility of change, which is important. Every new form of liberation is destined to eventually become another form of enslavement for most of its adherents. There is no freedom from duality on this plane of existence, but one may at least aspire to choice of duality. Liberating behavior is that which increases one's possibilities for future action. Limiting behavior is that which tends to narrow one's options. The secret of freedom is not to be drawn into situations where one's number of alternatives becomes limited or even unitary. This is an abominably difficult path to tread. It means stepping outside of one's own culture, society, relationships, family personalities, beliefs, prejudices, opinions, and ideas. It is just these comforting chains which seem to give definition, meaning, character, and a sense of belonging to most people. Yet in casting off one set of chains, one cannot avoid adopting another set unless one wishes to live in a very reduced and impoverished style. It is its own type of limitation. The solution is to become omnivorous. Omnivorous. Put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. The solution is to become omnivorous. Someone who can think, believe, or do any of a half dozen different things is more free and liberated than someone confined to only one activity. For this reason, Sufi mystics were required to master a handful of secular trades in addition to their occult studies. I like that. And I didn't know that about the Sufi mystics from the Middle East. Were required to master a handful of secular trades. How many of you guys have mastered a handful of secular trades? Meaning rooted in the physical world, not religious, not spiritual, just like, you can definitely argue there's no such thing if you want to be that facetious about it, but we can play along and say, oh, carpentry, or I just built a few raised beds from some old pallets and they look beautiful. I laid out some redwood bark this morning. Oh, I made a video, you guys will see. It looks beautiful. We have lettuces going, lettuce, cabbage, some beets, some radish. Did I say radish already? We planted our garlics. Anywho, point being, we're on the right path. If you're mastering some things in the secular realm, I mean, we are men and women of letters, are we not? We are Renaissance. We are people about town. So I'm sure it comes with the territory. Cheers, by the way, everyone. Welcome on in. Take your shoes off. If you're just joining us, my name is Keyth. Nice to meet you guys. If you're new, nice to see you again. If you're not, you know how it is. Knowledge, information, what was the last one? Entertainment. You know how it goes. We're here to have a good time. Hopefully make your guys' day a little bit better. Some respite from the less fun, chaotic aspects of the world into this evening something a little more nuanced. I'm always making something. That sounds awesome. You are a tinkerer. It sounds like, Rachel. You are a tinkerer. Where are we? We are continuing. Everyone hit the like button. Thank you. Chief among the techniques of liberation are those which weaken the hold of society, convention, and habit over the initiate, and those which lead to a more expansive outlook. They are sacrilege, heresy, iconoclasm, bioaestheticism, and an anathemism. Can someone look that word up for me? Anath, A-N-A-T-H-E dash mism, M-I-S-M. Anathemism? What's anathemism? Okay, so before we continue, the point of this section of the book is called liberation. What we've learned so far is liberation is crucial in invocating, well, in magical practices, period. You can call it manifestation, call it magic, call it law of vibration. What's in a name, Shakespeare? What's in a name? Point being, right now what we're learning about is how to relinquish the ideologies of all our previous thoughts, the ideologies of our political ties, the ideologies of our favorite religious ties, of even the more insidious things like the ones that are really hard to get rid of, our trauma responses, both good and bad. I mean, there are some trauma responses that we integrate into our light and we make them into superpowers, but even those, I'm assuming, in particular nuanced cases, can be limiting factors. So we're learning now how to liberate ourselves so that we can be completely open to the possibilities of that which we wish to resonate with. Yarda? Anath is a Canaanite goddess of love and war who was worshipped in the Levant and Egypt. Oh, okay, thank you, sir. Got it. Is there an ancient Babylonian deity of making your dog stop barking? Is there? Okay, the first one is sacrilege. Wow, so we're just getting right to it, eh? Energy is liberated when an individual breaks through rules of conditioning with some glorious act of disobedience or blasphemy. This energy strengthens the spirit and gives courage for further acts of insurrection. Put a brick through your television. Explore sexualities which are unusual to you. Do something you normally feel to be utterly revolting. You are free to do anything, no matter how extreme, so long as it will not restrict your own or somebody else's future freedom of action, which is crucial. I was about to say, because I think sacrilege, I think something against the church, because that's religious sort of, but it doesn't have to be that. Like they said, you can throw a brick through your TV. You know, we see this movie all the time. My favorite movie, Hook, does this beautifully. You'll notice your favorite movies and your favorite books will have aspects of them that tie into universal law, which is what makes them such good books and such good movies, because it can be the most outlandish fantasy ever, but the ideas and the lessons, the philosophies, the strife is rooted in reality. Point in case, sacrilege, in the movie Hook, Peter, bad form Peter. Robin Williams' character, Peter, his son, is kidnapped by Hook, and Hook has his son break all the clocks with a baseball bat, which is symbolic because time restricts this child. His dad is Robin Williams. Peter grows up and he's a lawyer, and he's always on his cell phone. He's always checking his watch. He's always late. He's like the Mad Hatter with the clock's always like, trapped in the rat race. So much to where he misses his son's baseball game. His son gets the winning hit of the baseball game, and the dad's not even, I think the dad was there, but the dad couldn't make it, and he had one of his employees filming the son's game. It was awful. Point being, the son takes a baseball bat, representing, childhood, representing fun, games, bonding with your child, and smashes all the clocks. It's sacrilege, and that's the manipulative aspect. That's how Hook captures the son. That was the moment. That was the turning point in that movie. That's where Peter Pan's son was captured, was absorbed by the evil villain, because the evil villain was able to use that sacrilegious moment, that freeing moment for the son, but captured that energy for him, right? Because this energy can be used for good or bad, but in this case it was used, obviously it was Captain Hook, baby. I mean, Hook, where is the hook? Anywho, probably Keyth, a goddess in ancient Greek mythology, is often depicted with dogs. All right, so I gotta get a freaking... All right. Heresy. Our next liberation is heresy. Alternative definitions. By seeking out ideas which seem bizarre, crazy, extreme, arbitrary, contradictory, and nonsensical, you will find that the ideas you previously clung to as reasonable, sensible, and humanitarian are actually just bizarre. They're crazy, and so on. Whatever is suppressed, restricted, ridiculed, or despised almost always contains a telling counterpoint to mainstream ideas. In argument, always disagree, especially if your opponent begins to voice your own opinions. Now it's telling you to just be silly. Heresy uses these pretty wild words, right? Sacrilege, like, oh, never commit sacrilege. Heresy, people got burned at the stake for heresy. Now think about that. The power in disassociating from the herd mentality, which is often extraordinarily toxic. It's sometimes not. It's there to protect us, light and dark. But imagine a time where you wanted to empower yourself by having new thoughts that they deemed heresy, that you then got burned at the stake for. Were they burning you at the stake because you were quote unquote demonic, or were they burning you at the stake because they knew the power of individual thoughts? They knew the power of having your own volition of choice, your own volition of action. When you decided what was best for you because you decided it, and not the authorities, not the church. I love Hook too, but that's deep. Oh man, I love Hook. Hook's my all-time... It's not my all-time, but my goodness. Like every aspect of that movie. The opening scene before they get to Neverland, the first scene when they get to Neverland, the make-believe at the table when they have the make-believe food fight, and you're doing it, Peter, when he learns how to fly. Like, oh man, the movie's brilliant. It's a brilliant movie. With one of my favorite actors, Robin Williams. It was, oh my goodness. Okay, so we've gone over heresy. We've gone over so 2 ways so far of liberating yourself in order to tap more into the infinite. The first is sacrilege. It doesn't have to be, going against your church or your religion. It could be throwing a brick through your television. It could be smashing all the clocks in your house. You can buy new ones, cooler clocks. Maybe buy ironic clocks that tell you the actual time, but at the end of every hour it says time isn't real, or some shit like that. Something cute, you know what I mean? Our next one was heresy. Basically have your own ideas. The next is iconoclasm, which is breaking images. So immense gulfs exist in human affairs between theory and practice, means and end. Contrast pornography and romance, cordon bleu, gluttony, and skeletal famine, dignity and masturbation. Consider violence as entertainment, mass slaughter for idealism's sake. Dang, right? That last one's pretty heavy. mass slaughter for an idealism. We do that all the time in this world, unfortunately. Look at what goes on in the name of religion and the consumer society. Relish the cacophony of neurosis, fantasy, and psychosis which guides material sensationalist culture to an uncertain end. Picking through society's dirty underwear, we discover its real habits. You can extend this list indefinitely, and indeed you should. For human folly is without limit, though society does much to disguise its darker side. Cynicism, sadness, or laughter is the magician's privilege. Oh, that was pretty... Iconoclasm, that was... The next, so far we have sacrilege, we have heresy, and iconoclasm, as liberating ourselves in such a way to tap into the other side more effectively, destroying the sacred, alternative definitions for what we believe in and what we've been told to believe, and breaking images. And our last is bioaestheticism, the body, which I have no idea. Bio is life, and aesthetics is life aesthetics. I don't know. There is a thing more trustworthy than all the sages, and which contains more wisdom than a great library. Your own body. It asks only for food, warmth, sex, and transcendence. Transcendence, the urge to become one with something greater, is variously satisfied in love, humanitarian works, or in the artistic, scientific, or magical quests of truth. To satisfy these simple needs is liberation indeed. Power, authority, excessive wealth, and greed for sensory experience are aberrations of these things. And last but not least, our new word of the day, anathemism, self-destruction. Sidestepping conventionally still leaves you with a mass of prejudices, idiosyncrasies, identifications, and preferences which give comfort and definition to the personality or the ego. An idea cannot be said to be completely understood till you understand the conditions under which it is not true. Similarly, you cannot be said to possess a personality until you are able to manipulate or discard it at will. Whoa, that's powerful. I'm going to read those last two sentences again because those are thoughts I haven't heard presented before but are hitting hard. An idea cannot be said to be completely understood till you understand the conditions under which it is not. Right? We exist upon that which resists us, as I think Alan Watts said, or the Emerald Tablets, I can't remember. Similarly, you cannot be said to possess a personality until you are able to manipulate or discard it at will. Your personality is your persona. It's the mask. I think it translates to mask in Latin. So if you can't take the mask off, in other words, are you wearing a mask? Or is that mask wearing you? Should I Ralph Smart that real quick? Slow motion to the left side. Does Ralph still do the slow motion thing? Anywho, that's fucking beautifully written. Oh my goodness. Definitely. You cannot be said to possess a personality until you are able to manipulate or discard it at will. My God, that's... Wow, what a powerful thought. Anathemism is a technique practiced directly upon yourself. Eat all loathsome things till they no longer revolt. Seek union with all that you normally reject. Scheme against your most sacred principles in thought, word, and deed. You will eventually have to witness the loss or putrefaction of every loved thing. Therefore, reflect upon the transitory and contingent nature of all things. Examine everything you believe, every preference and every opinion, and cut it down. The personality, a mask of convenience, becomes stuck to the face. Eyes become clouded by I. The human spirit becomes a trivial mess of petty identifications. The most cherished principles are the greatest lies. I think, therefore I am. But what is I? The more you think, the more the eye closes. thinking, thinking I am asleep, my eye is blinded. The intellect is a sword, and its use is to prevent identification with any particular phenomena encountered. The most powerful minds cling to the fewest fixed principles. The only clear view is from atop the mountain of your dead selves. Woo! The intellect is a sword, and its use is to prevent identification with any particular phenomena encountered. The most powerful minds cling to the fewest fixed principles. The only clear view is from atop the mountain of your dead selves. Woo! Yo, that's... You kidding me? Dude, playoffs? Playoffs? Can't even win a game. Let's talk about the playoffs. Playoffs? You kidding me? Oh, man. That was... It's like you start to read them and you think, wow, this is blasphemous. I'm like, wow, I hope my grandma doesn't see me reading this book. But then you go further into what is being said, and it's not, it doesn't have to be done. The blaspheme doesn't have to be done in a way in which degrades the all or the truth. It doesn't have to be done in a way that degrades your morals, but it can be done in a, for example, what was the one we just did? What was the one with the clocks? We did the clocks one. Sacrilege. Sacrilege doesn't mean destroying your crucifix, unless you want to. It could mean destroying the clocks in your house. It could mean destroying your television, because we worship the television. People watch the television an hour of like 4 to 6 hours a day. They get their news from it. They get their happiness from it. They get their sorrow from it. They get their perversions from it. They get their most holy, sincerely holy, right? We get sincere, like you're watching me right now on a Black Mirror. Yeah, you could argue that this is a very wholesome, very genuinely enriching content for the soul, but it's still happening through a device that's like somewhat dark side. It's still a device that we worship in a way. We give our attention to it, constantly giving our attention to devices like these. In other words, it's a form of worship. So you know what I mean? So if I were to take my sledgehammer and just drive it into my phone after this live, talk about liberation, that might be good, it might be bad. Oh my God, I don't know. I'm like, wow, should I do it? Should I just... It would be like Hook. It would be like when he takes... I think... what happens too, I think even in Hook, the wife takes the husband's phone and throws it in the snow. Remember? She takes it from his hand and fucking throws it out the window, and he's like, oh. But that was she liberated him. She liberated him. She gave him an opportunity, the feminine, right? The chaos. Do you think they did that on purpose? I don't think they did. It was a great fucking movie, and great movies have ways of showing esoteric sciences in them. The feminine, the chaos, just sacrileged homeboy's phone, threw it in the snow off a 2-story building. She set him free. She allowed him space to bond with his children that he's never going to get back. She gave him space to bond with his family, times moment that he will never get back. She gave him an opportunity to exit the road, which was potentially alienating yourself from the best thing in your life, which is debatably one's children. The feminine, the chaos, gave him that opportunity. It's almost sad when you look at it like that. Like I'm almost tearing right now. It's almost sad. But that's sacrilegious to him. He was a businessman. That's how he made his money. That's how he supported his family. That's how he was a man. You know, we latch onto things not because we don't latch onto things willy-nilly. We latch onto them because we think we need to. We build our identities with it. Our egos, our persona, our masks become not masks. They become us, and we forget that we are the thing looking through the mask, not the mask itself. Point being was what was presented as a form of liberation on the surface might be something, on the surface might be something Keith Garcia, Keith Cypress Garcia, would be burned at the stake for, 400 years ago. But honestly, based off the color of my skin, I would probably be sold. I think would make more sense. It's crazy times 400 years ago, let's be real. Point being, I bring that up because I feel, especially chaos magic, I was raised Catholic, so I'm getting a whole lot of mixed feelings about what I'm reading. It's like, whoa, sacrilege? You got to do heresy? You have to be a heretic, a sacrilege, like iconoclasm, like what, doing perverted things? Like what do you, because a perverted thing is having a regular thought in a society that is mad is perverted to the mad society. I can be like, hey, let's no longer call ourselves Democrats and Republicans, because realistically, any situation worth the public view en masse, any circumstance that requires the nation as a whole to decide on it, is most likely going to need to use both the Democratic viewpoint and the Republican viewpoint. Like, this is silly, right? That's a very fair, logical statement, but it's also a perverted statement, right? So you can say, like, Keith, like that's a way of having a perverted thought, and it not be morally demeaning. Not to say that you can't do morally demeaning things. Maybe that's dark side. I don't know. I'm not a proper chaos magician. I'm learning with you guys. Point being, I assume there are ways of doing heresy in a way that expands the soul and doesn't make you like a general of one of Lucifer's legions. You know what I mean? Which might be kind of dope in an alternate life. You know what I mean? I don't know. Don't ask me, dude. I'm just your local man of letters reading books online. Cheers, everyone, by the way. Cheers. We're drinking pumpkin juice. I'm catching up with you guys' comments. Allow me a moment to catch up with your comments. Don't go anywhere, please. I promise I'll keep reading for you guys. Honestly, we're done with that section. We're done with liberation. So this is a perfect time to catch up with you guys. Crazy, it's just their ways. Remember what was magical about childhood? There was a lot of, yes, the Terrace of the Folly. Hey, Dee Dee. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys are all living the vibes and eating the foods and stuff. Ellen Weiss, I'm not sure I fully comprehend, but I love it. Should we, let's comprehend more, shall we? I would love, because if I help you comprehend, I help myself comprehend more. So I don't even know what you didn't comprehend at the time. Hopefully I was able to explain it a little better since then. But let me know if you guys have any questions, you want to go over anything. I prefer that, and I'm sure the rest of the group would prefer that as well. The key to this book's knowledge uses context from other sources, while the book is the key to other books. I mean, honestly, you could finish this book in an afternoon reading. There's 11 people in the room with 11 likes. Nice. Yeah, I would imagine Liberation has its own book that's probably 4 times the length of this book, in just liberation alone. And then we had Gnosis. There's books on Gnosis alone. So I'm picking that up, Rusty. I'm picking that up. Are you Mexican or Italian? What makes you think I'm Italian? Do I do a lot of this? I'm not Italian, I'm Mexican. Well, I'm a whole bunch of things. I'm a healthy chunk native to the Southern California coast, which is where I live, Chumash. A healthy chunk West African, a healthy chunk British, and a healthy chunk like Spaniard, Iberian coast, Basque came up. Like a little bit of Basque, a little bit of Portuguese, a little bit of Spain, like most likely because that area that colonized Mexico is where that comes from. That's where that blood comes from. So it's almost 4/4 native West African, sort of United Kingdom. There's a United Kingdom spread, and I don't know, I forgot. And then the Iberian coast, which is like Spain, Portugal, Basque country. That's my and Arcturian Boots constellation, which we've been channeling this whole time. You look European. I do have. I think I might have some with the nose. I think I might have some Middle Eastern in me too, but I'm not quite sure. Does anyone have any questions? Should we keep going? Should be William O'Riordan. Riordan? Am I pronouncing that right? Riordan? My name's Keith. William, nice to meet you, brother. Yep, we can all be right or wrong. The only way to really know is by discussion and reading. Aye. Aye. This next section is only 2 1/4 page. Shall we? You guys have any questions? We got to keep going. Also known as Dave. All right, Dave. Well, let's run it. Before we continue, anyone not subscribed, whether you're watching now or post haste. Did I use that phrase right? Post haste? No, that's with quickness. That works. With post haste, subscribe if you're new. I don't know how to pronounce this word. Someone look this word up for me so I have context. It's spelled. Well, I guess I'll look it up myself. Ogoides. I'm gonna spell it. It's Augoeides. Definition. Means luminous vehicle. It is a term used to describe the immortal vehicle of the rational soul, also known as the Ogoides Okema. Can you pronounce that for me? Pronounce that. Someone pronounce that for me, please. So it's the ultimate form of angels and demons who are extra-dimensional, higher-level beings. The power generated by these forms is comparable to a black hole. Oh, that's from a game Wikipedia. But the games usually do good research if they're good games. Luminous body. Okay, it's a luminous body. Neoplatonists. Okay, but body of light. Okay, like your soul vehicle. Could that be like your astral body? Is that? Could we say astral body or no? PewDiePie. Oh my goodness, PewDiePie. What gift did you send me? I don't know if I did. Did you send me a gift? Where should I be looking for your gift? PewDiePie9. When I go to Spain or Greece, I look way darker than you after 2 weeks, and I am white Irish. Dude, you're seeing my light coat. This is my light coat. This is my I haven't been in the sun for months coat. Dude, I get way darker than this. I get. I believe that you get darker too. No, I'm not super dark as far as the spectrum goes because I have a lot of mix. I do have a lot of European in me. As far as the Iberian, like I'm pretty much half European. I'm almost a quarter British and Scottish from those isles, and then almost a quarter from the Iberian coast, which is like Spain, Portugal. So that's almost 50%, and then you have half West African and half native, Chumash native. So I definitely, technically speaking, have a lot of European in me. Anywho, let us continue. We are on to Ogoides, which means luminous vehicle. So we're about to. I wrote you about the knot. You wrote me a letter? Purify? Oh, is that what your name is? Purify? Oh my God, I just got that. And the Netherlands? What's up, Netherlands? I haven't received your gift yet, Purify. When did you send it? You're awfully far from me, so maybe it hasn't arrived yet. I'm gonna keep reading about the luminous light body though. The magician's most important invocation is that of his genius, his demon, his true will, or Ogoides. This operation is traditionally known as attaining the knowledge and conversation of the holy guardian angel. It is sometimes known as the magnum opus or great work. The ogoides may be defined as the most perfect vehicle of Keyth on the plane of duality. As the avatar of Keyth on Earth, the ogoides represents the true will, the raison d'etre, which translates to the reason to be in French, of the magician, his purpose in existing. The discovery of one's true will or real nature may be difficult and fraught with danger, since a false identification leads to obsession and madness. The operation of obtaining the knowledge and conversation is usually a lengthy one. The magician is attempting a progressive metamorphosis, a complete overhaul of his entire existence. Yet he has to seek the blueprint for his reborn self as he goes along. Life is less the meaningless accident it seems. Keyth has incarnated in these particular conditions of duality for some purpose. The inertia of previous existences propels Keyth into new forms of manifestation. Each incarnation represents a task or a puzzle to be solved. A puzzle to be solved on the way to some greater form of completion. The key to this puzzle is the phenomena of the plane of duality in which we find ourselves. We are, as it were, trapped in a labyrinth or a maze. The halls of Amenti, anyone? The only thing to do is move about and keep a close watch on the way the walls turn. In a completely chaotic universe such as this one, there are no accidents. Everything is significant. Move a single grain of sand on a distant shore and an entire future history of the world will eventually be changed. A person doing his true will is assisted by the momentum of the universe and seems possessed of amazing good luck. In beginning the great work of obtaining the knowledge and conversation, the magician vows to interpret every manifestation of existence as a direct message from the infinite chaos to himself personally. To do this is to enter the magical worldview in its totality. He takes complete responsibility for his present incarnation and must consider every experience, thing, or piece of information which assails him from any source as a reflection of the way he is conducting his existence. The idea that things happen to one that may or may not be related to the way one acts is an illusion created by our shallow awareness. Sounds very Kabbalion-esque. Keeping a close eye on the walls of the labyrinth, the conditions of his existence, the magician may then begin his invocation. The genius is not something added to oneself. Rather, it is a stripping away of excess to reveal the God within. Directly on awakening, preferably at dawn, the initiate goes to the place of invocation, figuring to himself as he goes that being born anew each day brings with it the chance of greater rebirth. First, he banishes the temple of his mind by ritual or by some magical trance. Then he unveils some token or symbol or sigil which represents him to the holy guardian angel. This symbol he will likely have to change during the great work as the inspiration begins to move him. Next, he invokes an image of the angel into his mind's eye. He may be considered as a luminous duplicate of one's own form standing in front of or behind one, or simply as a ball of brilliant light above one's head. Then he formulates his aspirations in what manner he will, humbling himself in prayer or exalting himself in loud proclamation as need be. The best form of this invocation is spoken spontaneously from the heart, and if halting at first, will prove itself in time. He is aiming to establish a set of ideas and images which correspond to the nature of his genius, and at the same time receive inspiration from that source. As the magician begins to manifest more of his true will, the ogoides will reveal images, names, and spiritual principles by which it can be drawn into greater manifestation. Having communicated with the invoked form, the magician should draw it into himself and go forth to live in the way he hath willed. The ritual may be concluded with an aspiration to the wisdom of silence by a brief concentration on the sigil of the ogoides, but never by banishing. Periodically, more elaborate forms of ritual using more powerful forms of gnosis may be employed. At the end of the day, there should be an accounting and fresh resolution made. Though every day be a catalog of failure, there should be no sense of sin or guilt. Magic is the raising of whole individual in perfect balance to the power of infinity, and such feelings are sympathetic of imbalance. If any unnecessary or imbalanced scraps of ego become identified with the genius, even by mistake, then disaster awaits. The life force flows directly into these complexes and bloats them into grotesque monsters, variously known as the demon Corazon. I don't know who that is. Someone look that up for us. Some magicians attempting to go too fast with this invocation have failed to banish this demon and have gone spectacularly insane as a result. Whoa! Diwana! Very peculiar. Don't you think? Okay, so I'm going to read that last part again because that seemed pretty important. At the end of the day, there should be an accounting and a fresh resolution made. We're talking chaos magic. A whole bunch of people just came in. We're learning how to call upon our light body, our perfect form of our light body, our genius, the Greeks called it. We just finished the chapter. However, I'll end it. I'll recap. At the end of the day, there should be an accounting and fresh resolution made. Though every day be catalog of failure, there should be no sense of sin or guilt. Magic is the raising of the whole individual in perfect balance to the power of infinity, and such feelings are symptomatic of imbalance. Meaning, if you're having thoughts of sin or guilt, you are unbalanced. These are signs of unbalanced, and the magician's role is to rise in balance. Yin and yang, baby. This is why we lean so heavily into balance, into yin and yang, into nuanced perspectives on at least important circumstances. And if any unnecessary or imbalanced scraps of ego become identified with the genius, then disaster awakes. So if any of these feelings of guilt or sin or shame become somehow imbued upon the genius, your genius, how can it not? As above, so below, right? How can you pour hot water into your bathtub and not get hot water? Which is why mental prowess is so important, which is why liberation is so important, I'm assuming, because the previous chapter we learned about liberation, right? Which was blaspheming things that we thought were religious, like your phone, like the television, like your favorite movie, like your favorite book, especially in a world full of propaganda like we live in, a world filled with symbols, symbology, with oh my goodness. We liberate ourselves from the shackles of herd mentality so that we can see the world objectively in relation to our sincerest desires that hopefully aim at good if you're going light side. And if any unnecessary or imbalanced scraps of that ego infiltrate your mind while you are performing this invocation of the genius, and you'll know that by feelings of guilt or shame, etc., etc., the life force flows directly into these complexes and bloats them into grotesque monsters, variously known as the demon Corazon. Some magicians attempting to go too fast with this particular invocation of the genius have failed to banish this demon and have gone spectacularly insane as a result. Hello everyone, my name is Keith. If you're just tuning in, we've been diving deep, man. We're about to be bumping shoulders with the Kraken here pretty soon. Cthulhu. We're about to be knocking on Cthulhu's door, it seems like. Welcome on in. My name is Keith. You're a man of letters, here to bring you knowledge, information, hopefully at the very least a bit of entertainment. And I hope I've made your day just a little bit better. If not by learning about the mechanisms of the fabric of this reality, then just a simple escape of the less interesting chaotic aspects of our reality. We just finished that section. Now I will read your comments and catch up. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We go live. I will be doing my best to go live more often, which is at least a few times a week, at least a few times a week. And we've got a good group here. We got good friends, and we dive deep, baby. So I'm gonna read you guys' comments. William O'Riordan was timed out by Rusty Utter. Oh, thank you, Rusty. Thank you, Rusty, for doing that. Good night, Ellen. Left from Australia. We're all... Oh, man. Homeboy was just being weird in the chat section, I see. Thank you, Rusty. Thank you. So you sent me something, Purify. I wrote you about the knot. Okay, right again. Take a flat band and make a flat tie knot and look. Oh, that's right. You did tell me about that. Write that somewhere where send it to me on Discord. You guys follow the Discord's not in the description. Or leave a comment. Leave a comment on my video somewhere where I can see that, Purify. Please. Carl Lewis left from California and from the past, Australia. You're tomorrow. I almost got this right. It's like what, 11 o'clock in the morning tomorrow? It's 11 o'clock in the morning tomorrow in Australia. Good night, Ellen. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you, Purify. Okay. You know, God, atonement, true religion, please. I'll try it, Purify. Ella, bro, save you a lot of time. Everything is frequency. Yes, we are hip with that. Ella, everything is frequency. Agreed. Everything is frequency, but like, it's one thing to just say everything is frequency and then to give demonstrable experiments of that. You know what I mean? And that's sort of what my channel is here to do. Like I'm not one of those dudes who's gonna be like frequency is everything and just leave it at like I think at this point we all know frequency is everything, but why? How does that show up in the world? What does that mean for my practical everyday life? How is that going to change my relationships? Like that's what I try. As Yoda says, either do or do not. There is no try. So what I do here on this channel is I do my best to explain the nuances of what it means that frequency is everything. So we talk about resonance, we talk about vibration, we talk about music, we talk about the subconscious and conscious mind and the different types of frequencies and how to program frequencies and how to get those frequencies to emit from ourselves passively 24/7 from the subconscious mind. You know what I mean? So I'm with you, Ela. Beautifully said. Everything is frequency, but we're on a cult like 106 right now. Everything is frequency is like The Secret from 2006. I hope I'm not sounding overly egotistical or overly one-upmanship. But everything is frequency was like The Secret 101. You know what I mean, brother or sister? We're on The Secret 112, I think. We're on the we done graduated from that. We're on our way up, baby. But thank you for including that. It was silly. Yeah, it was. Do it on. Oh, hello. You know what fractals are? Yes, I know. Why? What fractals? What fractals are you referring to? Purify. Atomic clock. Look it up. See, that's what I'm talking about, baby. That's some The Secret 112 shit right there. The atomic clock. No, I don't know what that is, but I will love to research it. I would love to go into that, at least to read it. Biophysics rule. I love biophysics. Oh my god, I love science just as much as I love the occult. They're one and the same, I think. A measure for risk of catastrophic destruction. Oh, like a doomsday clock? Is it a doomsday clock? Is that what this is? All right, I'm definitely not on board with the like the world is going to end at any particular year, mostly because we've had a few of those, and it's like that's not necessarily useful for my particular nuanced vision of my own personal reality, which is how do I live without you? I want to know. How do I live without you if you ever go? How do I ever survive? Sorry, I can't. That's not my. How do I? Oh, how do I? Oh, how do I live without you? Wasn't that song in? That song was in a movie that I liked way too much for my age. I think it was a Nicolas Cage movie where he was in a plane. Something about Nicolas Cage is in a plane. He's being transported, but he just wants to go home. So he's like a bad guy, but not really a bad guy. What's that movie called? I think that song was in that movie. Anywho, I digress heavily. What were we talking about? I forgot what we were talking about. I'm going on with the comments. The atomic clock is gauged by the decay of electrons. Oh, noted, Rusty. Thank you for that. Okay, I'll go into it more. Unless you guys want me to read, I feel like that's not very entertaining if I just read amongst myself. Let's say read it to you guys. Decoding the Universe PBS Special Quantum Mechanics, bro. All right, Ela, thank you for that. I got your atomic clock pulled up here, Ela, and thank you for the rabbit hole, good sir. I will for sure be looking into that. Maybe 2029 with Apophis, but this Quaker resonates at this Quaker. You receive the gift if you make this not by yourself. Oh, William is angry right now. William, you're still here being angry, William? Nobody decoding here, PBS on YouTube. Con Air, that's what it was. Dude, I watched Con Air more than like an 8-year-old child should have watched Con Air when that movie came out. And the dude from Monsters Inc. that played the lizard, the chameleon from Monsters Inc. was in that movie too, right? He was the crazy dude. He played in Armageddon too, that crazy guy. The Big Lebowski, I think he played in. Anywho. Oh, you hit him. Hey, William, how's it going? How does it feel to be hidden? Oh, okay. I think so we're all caught up on the comments, it sees. Atoms have frequency. Atomic clocks work by using frequency. I say so does GPS. I guess the universe blocks my gift to you. Purify. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with the comments. Don't hate me. Give me a chance to catch up with things. Like I said, if you are super stoked, which it seems like you are, leave a comment. You said something about a rubber band and tying knots. Like, I'm not trying to tie knots right now. I'm not in the headspace of tying knots and doing things like of that nature at this very moment in time. So whatever my instructions are, leave it on any video of your choice. Leave a comment. It'll show, hey, Keith, you have a new comment. I'll read the comment. I'll be like, oh, it's Purify, and they want me to do this. I promise I will do it. I promise. I promise. I promise. It is true, everything approaches entropy. It approaches entropy until it doesn't, right? That's like saying everything dies. Everything dies until until the atoms are reorganized into new life forms. And you can say, okay, Keith, well, atoms will also undergo entropy and there will be no atoms left. Like, I guess, but then it'll be what? It'll go back into the quantum field? It'll go back into the wavelength? which we learned from the slit theory is all it needs is consciousness for the wavelength to collapse back into reality. I'm spitballing here. I'm playing devil's advocate, but you see what I mean? So this reality is set to end at a certain time because of this atomic clock, is what I'm picking up. No, I will not donate 275 Wikipedia. You guys are freaking evil. I went down a Wikipedia rabbit hole. Nah, I'm not down with you. I will not donate anything. The dude who runs Wikipedia is like works for the NSA or something like that. If you want money, Wikipedia, get it yourself. Take it from the other freaking missing trillions of dollars that the freaking goddamn government has unaccounted for with its IRS tax filing. Don't take it from me. You take enough from me, Wikipedia. I hope you're listening to me. Donate 275. Can lick my nuts. 275 from Wikipedia, please. We need your help. We need your help, Wikipedia. We're a source of accurate information. Yeah, sure you are, Wikipedia. Anywho, after Thanksgiving, I'll get with you about the plants. Oh, Brandy, yes, Brandy. I appreciate your gift, Purify. I know I keep saying your thing. Don't be mad at me, Purify. It's weird. I promise I'll do your thing. Dude, do you want me to keep reading? Should I keep reading? You guys wanted me to keep reading the Chaos Magic? The Chaos Magic book? Because that's mostly what this live is for. Yes, it has to do with the emptiness that we don't fully understand. I'll be quoting this book because we read this last time. It has to do with the emptiness. It's was it the Kia? It wasn't Kia. It was another. It was another thing it wanted to define for us, and it was saying this thing. I think it was the Kia. Can't be defined because to define it is to sort of to say that it's one thing says that it's immediately not all these other things, which is contradictory. You could say it's the all. We would call that the all in Hermeticism or alchemy. So maybe we're not supposed to understand that. Maybe we're not supposed to understand the emptiness from at least the human rational mind. Maybe if you were balls deep in Aya or some other entheogen, you might have, you know, like, I understand everything. If only I could. I gotta go to the bathroom though. Brandy, I will read you all the bedtime stories, Brandy. Yes, it's feminine. Ela, well said, feminine. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick right here. I'm gonna fertilize the orange trees and I'll be right back. Give me like, you guys, this is your chance to pack yourself some oregano, pour yourself a glass of wine, get some water, some tea, re-up. We'll be back in like 90 seconds. Don't go nowhere. All right, we're back. Let's see, maybe change up the tunage a little bit. Is the Daduke flute getting a little played out? We can slide the animation a little bit. Maybe go some Gregorian chants. Should we do some Gregorian chants? That might be a vibe. Let's try that. Did you wash your hands? I did not wash my hands. I literally peed on the orange tree, and then I came back. Is that weird? I feel like it's only weird if you don't wash your hands in public. If you like pee, if you're like on a walk and you pee on a tree, is it still weird if you don't wash your hands? Or is it like, anywho, I don't understand everything, certainly, only what I have studied or been taught. Atomic physics falls into the power generation. That's where all my knowledge on Tesla and Edison was learned on the... Nice. Brandy, are you sure you want to high five me? I didn't wash my hands. Oh. Okay, we'll keep reading. We'll keep reading. Liberation, Agoides, we learned about the light body, we learned about liberation, we learned about gnosis, invocation, Liber Lux. I don't remember what Liber Lux was. Duality. Okay. Next is divination. It's getting cold. Next is divination. It's best to think of it as a womb of endless possibilities or probabilities. Quantum. Yes, it is. It is the undefined nothingness from which everything materializes from, the universal subconscious, if you will. Conscious being those thought forms made manifest into somewhat of a physical reality. Even if that physical reality is a waveform, it is still a waveform as compared to an orange growing on my tree. You know what I mean? It's still its own well-defined, distinct from the rest of creation form, you know, so it is a conscious form of reality. Ad infinitum. Oh no, you're fine, Rachel. I had no disrespect. It was actually hilarious because I felt bad. I was like, damn, I've been busted. I've been drats, drats. I've been routed. Okay. Divination. Space. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe, please. Thank you. We're trying to grow. There is no try, do or do not. We are growing the YouTube channel. God knows when we're going to hit our 100K, but I hope it's soon. So everyone subscribe. If you're new, subscribe. Share the content if you're liking it. Share it with the homies. Share it in your favorite groups. Share it in your favorite cults. Share it in the cults that you wish to create yourself one day. I would love that, and I would appreciate it. Anywho. Space and divination. Space, time, mass, and energy originate from chaos, have their being in chaos, and through the agency of the ether are moved by... Before we go on, I haven't said it before because I felt like maybe there would be a correction to it eventually in chaos magic. But it seems to leave out a lot of the time that the chaos, the feminine, even you guys have been talking about it in the room, have been missing a phenomenal part of the process, which is the masculine, right? The feminine exists within the container of the masculine. So when you say things like, for example, when you say things like, it's best to think of it as the womb, the feminine womb of endless possibilities. Right? But the womb is only a womb because it's distinct from the penis. The womb is distinct from the testes. The womb is distinct from the sky. The only reason the womb can be called a womb is because it is defined, meaning it is cut out from everything else in existence. To define something is to cut out, like a decision, like an incision is to cut into something. To decide is to cut out from. So when you decide, when you define, you're cutting out the possibilities of everything else, and you're solidifying it into a thing that we give a name. That is the masculine counterpart. That is the border. That is the definition that gives form to life. And so far, at least this book hasn't mentioned the role of masculine ever, or ever, at least in this book, in the last, few dozen pages. And I say that because I come from a alchemical hermetic background, which is always like, hey, no matter what you have, there's both feminine and masculine. They're not completely balanced. They don't have to be completely balanced, but they both have to show up. That's how creation, that's the only way something can exist, is to have a blend of the two. The only thing that is outside of those two things is what we'll call the all. The thing that, like you can't call God a man or a woman, because to call God a man means it's not a woman, and there's nothing that God is not. You can't call God a woman because that means God is not a man, and there is nothing God is not. I can't say God is infinity because infinity implies something regulated by time, and God is not regulated by time. The all is not regulated by anything. It's not conceivable by anything because it is outside of everything. And I say that because I don't know, I don't know, something just told me to say it. Maybe because that's the lens I see the world in, so I find it important to note. Anywho, sorry, I blacked out for a second. So, space, time, mass, and energy originate from chaos, have their being in chaos, and through the agency of the ether are moved by chaos into the multiple forms of existence. Some of the various densities of the ether have only a partial or probabilistic differentiation into existence and are somewhat indeterminate in space and time. In the same way that mass exists as a curvature in space-time, extending with a gradually diminishing force to infinity that we recognize as gravity, so do all events, particularly events involving the human mind, send ripples through all creation. Various methods of intercepting and interpreting these ripples constitute the magick art of divination. These ripples through space and time can only be received if they strike a note of resonance in the receiver and are not drowned out by noise or suppressed by the psychic sensor. I'm gonna have to go over this again. I'm hitting one of those spots where I have no idea what I'm reading. Various methods of intercepting and interpreting these ripples constitute the magick art of divination. Okay, got it. Following. These ripples through space and time can only be received if they strike a note of resonance, we talk about resonance all the time, in the receiver and are not drowned out by noise or suppressed by the psychic sensor. Some forms of resonance exist naturally, as between a mother and a child or between lovers. Otherwise, they have to be established by concentrating on the object of divination. Oh man, this is cool. You guys know how much we love talking about resonance. Resonance is I like to define it as physics defines it because it's beautiful. I'm gonna have to look it up to do it right, but it's the harmonious and synchronistic vibrations of neighboring objects, and amplification. It's the amplification of. We'll just look it up because this is crucial. The amplification of synchronistic and harmonious frequencies between neighboring objects. Resonance. Come on, I need a better. Come on the kick drum. Unless someone beats me to it in the comment section. There we go. So resonance is amplification or the range of audibility of any source of speech, sound, vibration. Oh my God. There's like 16 different ones. You guys get the point. This is why I like to speak in terms of resonance over the law of attraction, because not that you don't attract things to yourself, but that it's the most accurate way to describe the evocation of things that you want. Is through matching the frequency of them. And when two objects have the same frequency, when one vibrates, the other one vibrates. Point in case, you have two musical instruments, you vibrate the string of one guitar, and without touching the string of the other guitar will vibrate. As long as they're tuned to the same frequency, the synchronistic and harmonious vibrations will strike the waves will strike the other chord and begin to vibrate that one, and they'll feed off of each other. It's a feedback loop. Resonance, 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 resonance. The general level of mental noise can be suppressed by silencing the mind by some Gnostic method. This also assists with the concentration. The inhibitory mode of the gnosis is most frequently used. Sleeplessness, fasting, and exhaustion may cause prescience through visions, but as with drugs, there is always the difficulty of maintaining concentration. Any form of magical trance can be adapted for divination by first directing an intense concentration toward the desire of matter of divination. This is your masculine. We employ intense focus on a singular object. This is calling in the power of the masculine. Or some sigilized form of it, and then allowing impression to arise into the vacuous state of consciousness. Many of the excitatory techniques can be used, but some with difficulty. Augury may be made by sacrifice, and men have tortured themselves for knowledge, but sex is the easiest. Giggity. Erotocomatose lucidity, or sex trance, describes a condition brought about by continually stimulating and exhausting the sexuality by any means possible until the mind enters the borderland state between consciousness and unconsciousness. So far, only direct prescience, the ideal of divination, has been discussed. This is not always possible, and recourse must often be had to use of symbolic intermediaries. These can augment the practice of divination greatly, or ruin it utterly. Such is the rhythm and therefore balance of life. Assuming that the magical perception can forge some sort of tenuous connection with the answer to a question, symbols are shuffled, drawn, or selected in some manner to carry the answer into the conscious mind. Then a further effort must be made into the interpretation to get that magical perception to come into complete manifestation. Symbols are easy to come by. Any system can be used. The difficulty lies in forging the magic link, in obtaining the symbolic result. The magician tries to let the magic slip through below the level of conscious control, but must not let the process become merely random. For example, in cartomancy or tarot divination, one should look through the pack first and then shuffle, but lightly, or the result will be completely random, and the chances of the spread being able to stimulate the magical perception will be reduced. That's interesting. Do you guys use that practice when using your tarot cards? Just a light shuffle? Astrology is not a valid form of magical divination because it assumes a causal relationship between events which are linked only very weakly, if at all. If the relationship were strong, then astrology would be an ordinary secular science. Throwing shade at astrology, huh? As the relationship is very weak, astrology owes whatever success it has to the natural prescience of its practitioners and obscures its failures with imprecision, evasiveness, and ambiguity. The best methods of obtaining symbolic intermediate results are those which are just below the threshold of deliberateness, but above the threshold of pure randomness. Shamanistic type methods involving the casting of bones, stones, or sticks marked with runes are simplest and best. As methods involving the fall of coins or dice, the separation of yarrow stalks, and their rules for interpretation become progressively more complex the more remote the prescient ability became. Highly complex mathematical systems represent decadence of the art. Of all the forces which obstruct divination, that's funny. Highly complex mathematical systems represent the decadence of the art. I'm assuming they're referring to stuff like what's the one, like if you're a projector, or if you're a manifester. Human design is extraordinarily mathematical. So I'm assuming when it says highly complex mathematical systems represent the decadence of the art, I'm gonna start using that. How can I use that in a sentence? Highly complex mathematical. Um, your your inability to subscribe to my channel, given the plethora of knowledge and information, represents a uh, represents a decadence of the art. Represents a decadence of your art of damn, I don't know, I guess you feel me though. Anywho, of all the forces which obstruct divination, none has more power over the civilized consciousness than what is called the psychic censor. This is the same factor which denies us access to most of our dream experiences and prevents us from being overwhelmed by the millions of sensory impressions which bombard our body ceaselessly. Although we could not function without it, it is useful to be able to turn parts of it off at times. Hallucinogenic drugs knock it out unselectively and are not much use. The magician must begin to notice all coincidences which surround him, instead of dismissing them. Often, one notices that just before somebody said something or an event occurred, one knew it would happen. This can happen several times a day, but we somehow, almost unbelievably, manage to dismiss it each time and not connect the occurrences together. If a definite effort is made to consciously note these occurrences as well as to record them in the magical diary, they start to become much more numerous. So many coincidences occur that it is ridiculous to use the word coincidence at all. No, nay, one is only becoming prescient. I like it. Are you guys taking? Is anyone taking notes? Someone should be taking notes. We finished that section, everyone. Give me a moment to look at the comments. Randy, pillar equals male, water equals female. Thank you, Ela. Yes, yes, sir, or yes, ma'am. I'm gonna pin that. Well said. Right, elaborate. What is wrong? We're simply reading and listening. We're lucky to have a. Oh, is someone? Oh, Randy. I don't know, man. I'm not sure what's wrong with me, Randy. Randy, oh, do I make you Randy, babe? I'm not mad. Kind of sad. Maybe another time. Bye. Take care. Purify. The truth is great at making a fool of us, but it is great. Ah, yes. That's all right. I mean, if people get too much, feel free to mute them. Rusty, but sometimes the trolls mean we are on the right path. That's why at Washington Monument, the pillar and the reflection pool, masculine and feminine. Ooh, nice. Nice, Elijah. Light travels in particles and waves. Following. Ah, thank you, Brandy. Anyone new, please go to the books. He's already published. It's all fantastic. Remember, it's just him. Ah, thank you, guys. Pilot Wave 3, Quantum Mechanics, Emily. Thank you, Brandy. You can also break the glass. Look at Pilot Center Resident for music. Oh man, look at glass break. I listen to frequency music every night. I can break some glass. Awareness and stillness you need. Also look into harmonic frequency. Oh yeah, harmonic frequencies is a whole nother, and divergence of the frequency. That's all included in instruments. That's how we tune our to match each other. It can be for it. Oh yes, 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 yes. Awareness is light, male, stillness. Works on emotion level. Yes, emotion is the feminine. That's the powerhouse. Oh my guitar, the match of banjo. I have to adjust. Oh, interesting. Projector here, just starting to try and understand it. I know when it comes to the human design, I've definitely read it, but oh my goodness, it's like. So how do you guys feel about that? This book, now obviously, it's all exciting and it's all wonderful and it's well worded and thoughtful and well researched and coincides with a lot of our teachings. This book does, but then it says something akin to the highly mathematical representations of divination are a decadence to the art, because the purest divination lies somewhere in between the masculine and the feminine, somewhere in between wake and sleep, somewhere in between conscious and subconscious. And something that's highly mathematical, highly logical, highly masculine is you're barking up the wrong tree. So how do you guys feel about that? If you study something like human design, and I'm not even sure what would you call too mathematical? Would you? I feel like astrology is when I see a natal chart, I'm like, oh my God, it doesn't get more friggin' mathematical than this. But this also does criticize astrology for that very maybe for that very reason. I don't know. How do you feel? I ask because I've been breaking people's minds when I tell them that I no longer call myself an Aries because the sun was not in the constellation of Aries when I was born. The sun was in the constellation of Pisces. On April 13th, when you look into the sky, as the sun travels through the heavens, it is not in the constellation of Aries. So to call myself, say, oh, what's your placements? Where's your sun placed at? Oh, it's placed in the Aries. Well, no, it's not. My sun's actually placed in Pisces. The sun doesn't cross into Aries until April 18th. So I'll say something like that, and people will just, their head will explode. It's like the cartoons where the head explodes, and they go, what? Like, but it's so accurate for me. I believe that it's accurate for people to a degree. I'm also like, are you sure you're not undergoing, you know, a self-fulfilling prophecy? Are you sure you're not, what's the term? Placeboing yourself? Are you sure you're not forcing yourself to fall into the mold of an Aries sun just because you have always? One of the things we're learning in this is blasphemy, right? That could be a form of blasphemy, a form of heresy in the spirituality sector, is no longer following Western astrology, because Western astrology doesn't actually follow the path of the heavens. It follows the path of the earth. It should, if anything, it should be called terology, because it studies the seasons, not the heavens. So maybe that's why it's still accurate. I don't know. I've been thinking about this clearly a lot lately. But point being, maybe that can be a type of liberation in terms of chaos magic, to liberate yourself from old world ideologies that are holding you back. Maybe that was mine dropping, which is still hard. Sometimes I'm still like, I call myself an Aries because I want to fit in, because I want to be in the conversation, because I don't want to explain myself and say Pisces, and then I tell them April 13th, and they go, well, you're not Pisces, that's an Aries. Then I have to go through this whole spiel, then I got to go through this whole like Raggy kind of Scooby-Doo moment every time I talk about it, so I still conform. But is that helping or hindering? I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I am the notes. Gene keys? What's gene keys, DD Bly? What are gene keys? I like it. I follow whatever path leads to light. All paths lead to light, one could argue. One could argue. I know, I just feel like I was being lied to my whole life. I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I study the occult. I know what I'm talking about. Astrology? Oh yeah, I know what astrology is. Well, whatever. What is it? We're in one right now. Mercury retrograde, right? Oh, well, Mercury retrograde is when you look in the sky and Mercury appears to be going backwards, but it's because of the orbits of the planets, yada yada yada. And what that means is when this happens in the sky, it influences certain energies, which include these, and so you shouldn't do these things during this time period because the alignment of the stars isn't guiding properly. That's what astrology is. The alignment of the stars dictates the energies of the earth, as above, so below. And then, so I think, okay, when I say I'm an Aries sun, that's because the position of the sun is in the constellation of Aries, but that's not the case. It's not the case at all. April 13th, the sun is in the constellation of Pisces, which means you're a Pisces sun. So I either A, no longer say I follow astrology, or we have to do some redefining and say, all right, that's not astrology, that's terology. You're studying the seasons, because that's what Western astrology is. It studies You know, Aries comes into fruition on spring equinox. All right, but that's not a study of the stars. That's a study of the Earth. That's Terra, baby. That's Mama Gaia. Also, the sun passes through 13 constellations, not 12. It passes through Ophiuchus for a couple weeks at the end of the year, which we don't even acknowledge. And there's not an even 30-day split between all the seasons. Like, I think, is it Virgo or Cancer? Someone help me out. One of those astrological signs, the sun is in that sign actually for like 2 months. The sun is in that one sign. So there's all kinds of stuff. Like, I'm still trying to have this conversation with people, and they don't want to have an interesting conversation with me about it. It's like, you're wrong, I'm right, or they'll just drop it, or it'll just be like, you know what, I don't even want to deal with that, so I'll just change the subject. I will respectfully decline that conversation, Keith, which is most of the time, which I respect. But it's also not a very interesting conversation, and I like having interesting conversations, and that's a fascinating one. That is a fascinating conversation to have, for me, at least, to other people who are in this world. Like, someone who's balls deep in spirituality, the occult, astrology, to have this conversation with me is like, that's no one that deep in it wants to have the conversation with me, unless they're already Vedic or sidereal astrologers, and they're like, oh yeah, of course, dude, like, I've known this for decades. Oh, my bad, I just learned that. I actually got in like a low-key fight with this girl on TikTok. She started following my TikTok, and she had a following of like 80, 90K, and I brought this up to her, and she did not like it. Oh my God. She called me a fool. She was like being hella passive aggressive. She was like, if you want to play the fool's card, then you can believe whatever you want, or something like that. And I was like, did you really just call me a fool via the tarot deck? Like, I prefaced the conversation with, hey, I'm going to challenge your beliefs. I found something out that's really turning my world upside down, and as a seeker of truth and knowledge, I want to have this conversation, and you're the first person I've come across who's savvy enough to have it with me. And she did, and she was like, yeah, definitely, I'm open to it. I'm open. I'm so open. I'm the most open. I'm an open book. I'm just loving life, free flow, baby. I go with the flow. What is it? Anything. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was not her energy at the end of the conversation. The end of the conversation was like, you're just a fool, and you are going in circles, and this is the type of thought that's gonna like keep you, though. That's what it was. She's like, this type of thought is what's gonna keep you the fool's errand. But if you want to stay in the fool's errand this incarnation, then like, I'm not here to judge. Or I was something. It was ridiculous. But more than ridiculous, I was saddened, because it was an opportunity to have a really good conversation with someone balls deep in this world, and I couldn't have it. It devolved into cattiness and pettiness and weariness, boredom, dullness. I don't know. Anywho, I've heard that the rising sign is more accurate, but I found fuller messages listening to sun, moon, and rising. Yeah, but those are all, yeah, agreed. Agreed. Pisces, Brandy Pisces, Jyotish, Vedic astrology. I'm also a mixologist. That's what I studied to be a bartender. Actually, I was a bartender for a few years in San Francisco and in Santa Barbara when I moved there for a very short spell. I was a mixologist. I enjoyed it. I like serving people spirits and having conversations with them. That was my favorite part. We'd make and have. I was that bartender who would like schmooze behind the bar and get to know people, and kind of, that was, I liked it. It's something to do with background radiation from the cosmos. They recently found another particle that doesn't interact. So it means a study of light and sound. You see all angles. All right, well, we've been live for quite some time. Shall we continue? I can, if someone sweetens the pot, I might be inclined to continue reading if someone was so kind as to sweeten the pot. Maybe a little change here and there so that I can maybe perhaps purchase myself a coffee so I can proceed with dignity in this quest for knowledge and truth. Of course, if you have the means and the motivation, that is. Listen. En noctis umbra, lenu plena, mutatio incipit fernavena, corpus meum mutatur, pelum crescit, ula lutus in tenebris, animus resurgit, sanguis fervet, oculi fulgent, vestia intus, humanae furguent, lupus ego fio, noctis dominis in silvis erans solus et sinistrus. Oh, Didi, thank you for this. Thank you, Didi, for sweetening the pot. I am much obliged. We will continue with the next section of this here book, and then possibly end it. Unless, of course, there is more pot sweetening to be had, in which case we might consider further action. The light comes from within. You won't find it in books or another. I agree with that to an extent. I also think that as within, so without. So if something can be found within, it can also be found without. I believe that it is much easier to find it within. It is much more pure to find it within. And it is much more consistent to find it within. But to say that light doesn't exist outside of the body, to me, to say that light doesn't exist to be found outside of the body, to me, sounds unbalanced. It sounds like I'm saying as within, so within, and only within, and forgetting about the above or the without. But I'm also biased in my own pursuit for balance and reconciliation of of all that is. Wow, that's sounded pretentious as fuck. I'm sorry. I didn't. If I ever sound hella pretentious, just be like, Keyth, stop. Be like, Keyth, stop. But Keyth, grab me a beer, please, and roll up another one. Just ask me what plants I'm growing. If I ever get a little too ridiculous, just talk about plants or something. I don't know. Where we at? Let's see. We're almost done with this book, you guys. Only 2 lives, and let's see. Oh, enchantment. We got it. We're going on to enchantment. This is great. Enchantment's one of my favorite all-time things on all fronts. And we're about halfway through the book with 2 lives. This is wonderful. Let's see. Everyone doing good? You will see what I mean when you see. That's fair enough, Ela. Fair enough. You have yourself a good night, unless you're chilling, in which case take your shoes off, stay a while. Cheers. I'm all out of brouhaha, so I can't really cheers you guys, but it's bad luck. I can't say cheers with that. I take that back. I don't have any oregano, otherwise I would partake on some sort of inebriation with y'all, but I'm just gonna have to end you. Who's ready? Enchantment? Here we go. Magical will may exert its effects directly on the universe, or it may use symbols or sigils as intermediaries. The creation of direct effects, like prescience in divination, represents a high point in the art and is just as elusive. Making things happen by either method is referred to as the art of enchanting or the casting of enchantments. From a magical point of view, it is axiomatic that we have created the world in which we exist. Looking about himself, the magician can say, "Thus have I willed," or "Thus do I perceive," or more accurately, "Thus does my Kia manifest." It may seem strange to have willed such limiting circumstances, but any form of dualistic manifestation or existence implies limits. If the Kia had willed a different set of limitations, it would have incarnated elsewhere. The tendency of things to continue to exist, even when unobserved, is due to their having their being in chaos. The magician can only change something if he can match the chaos which is upholding the normal event. This is the same as becoming one with the source of the event. His will becomes the will of the universe in some particular aspect. It is for this reason that people who witness real magical happenings at close range are sometimes overcome with nausea and may even die. The part of their Kia or life force which was upholding the normal reality is forcibly altered when the abnormal occurs. If this type of magic is attempted with a number of people working in perfect synchronization, it works much better. Conversely, it is even more difficult to perform in front of many persons, all of whom are upholding the ordinary course of events. That's interesting. In trying to develop the will, the most fatal pitfall is to confuse will with the chauvinism of the ego. Will is not willpower, virility, obstinacy, or hardness. Will is unity of desire. Whew. Will is unity of desire. Will expresses itself best against no resistance when its action passes unnoticed. Only when the mind is in a state of multiple desire do we witness the idiot agonizations of willpower. Pitting oneself against various oaths, abstentions, and tests is merely to set up conflicts in the mind. The will always manifests as the victory of the strongest desire, yet the ego reacts with disgust if its chosen desire fails. I'm going to read that again. Pitting oneself against various oaths, abstentions, and tests is merely to set up conflicts in the mind. The will always manifests as the victory of the strongest desire, yet the ego reacts with disgust if its chosen desire fails. The magician therefore seeks unity of desire before he attempts to act. Desires are rearranged before an act, not during it. In all things he must live like this, as I've been meditating haphazardly my whole life. I was taught to manifest. When using meditation as a means to manifest, you lock in the desire, or with certain meditations, you lock in the desire, you hold it in place, you let go of everything else, and then you do the thing. But this book has enlightened me so much already. So just one or two substantial things, like training your capacity to meditate in the first place before even attempting to visualize something. Work on visualization, work on audio visualization, work on pictorial visualization, work on breathing visualization. Don't even step in the shooting range. Learn how to break the gun apart, learn how to clean it, learn how to put it back together, learn how to fix it if it breaks, learn how to diagnose it if it breaks, learn the safety protocols, learn the strength and the wills and the philosophy behind it, and then go to the shooting range. That's what I appreciate about this book so far. If not anything, it's my approach to meditation in the future, and to actualization and realization in the future. Some of these key things, like right now, seeking unity of desire before attempting the act, like seeking the unity of desire before you meditate, not during the meditation, because then you're trying to force it. You're sad if you don't maintain that thought. Oh my God, I meditated for 25 minutes and my brain was all over the place when I was trying to manifest money. And it's just like, it seems chaotic in a way. It says chaos a lot in this book. It doesn't say order ever, which makes me sad, because this is proper ordering of the mind. I wish it would see hey, we need to organize and give order to your mind before we set out on these, Anyway, I will continue. The magician therefore seeks unity of desire before he attempts to act. Desires are rearranged before an act, not during it. And all things he must live like this. As reorganization of belief is the key to liberation, so is reorganization of desire the key to will. Which is sort of what I was getting at. I don't want to say it right now. I feel like I'll make people angry. In practice, many difficulties can be gotten around by using various types of sigil. The desire is represented by some pictorial glyph, by a wax image to be wounded, bound, or healed, by the characters of a magical alphabet, or by some image in the mind's eye. All these serve as a focus for the will. Concentration on these spells should be augmented by some form of Gnostic exaltation to cast the enchantment. When considering any form of enchantment, remember this. Remember who you are. You are my son, the one and true king. Wait, remember. Dad, no, don't go. Remember. Wait, remember. Pa! Do you want that? Very peculiar. Don't you think? I forgot what he says after that. What comes after that? So something about the past. Ah, yes, the past can't hurt. Anyway, I gotta watch Lion King again. Oh, let's continue. But my entire I side railed myself so hard right there. I don't even know what I was. We could have been talking about the secrets of the universe, and I just blacked out on Lion King. Salt. That was salt in the soup. You can't have a good soup without a little bit of saltiness. It gives it flavor. You know what I mean? Anywho, where was I? When considering any form of enchantment, remember this. Remember. Remember. It is infinitely easier to manipulate events while they are still embryonic or at their inception. Thus does the magician turn that aspect of chaos which manifests as causality to his advantage rather than oppose it. The desire then manifests as a convenient but strange coincidence rather than as a startling discontinuity. The will may be strengthened by one another technique aside from the concentrations of magical trance, and that is by luck. The magician should observe the current of his luck in small, inconsequential matters, find the conditions for its success, and try to extend his luck in various small ways. Small with an O, small ways. He who is doing his true will is assisted by the momentum of the universe. That last paragraph is in stark contrast to Hermetic and alchemical texts, which are like, luck does not exist. Only the fool believes in luck and chance and what's the word for that? Superstition. Only the fool gives in to superstition, luck, and chance, for only the fool doesn't understand the law of cause and effect and that there is no chance, that everything is tied to everything, etc. ad infinitum. It's like, I'm okay with calling something luck and chance only because I didn't know the cause and effect from which it came. Like, you know what I mean? May I play devil's advocate and be kind of down for both? Is that fair? Liber Nox. Ecstasy. The double. Well, we're done with enchantment. What did we learn from enchantment? Los Brooklyn. Hello, Los Brooklyn. Nice to see you. Welcome on in. Come on in. Take it. Everyone slap the like button. We have twice as many likes as viewers, which means people have been super homies. I'm not even sure how I'm still here, really. Here, like in the chat room on the live, or here on Earth existing and shit. Both for me. Up the ante a bit. What did you see, Brandy? To get true stillness, meaning no thoughts, just use awareness, 100% energy, and only awareness. When you're only watching, then the thoughts stop on their own effortlessly. Handsome death. What's handsome death? Can you further explain that, Rusty? What do you mean by handsome death? Curious. Same, Rusty. I've manifested things that freak out others so bad they have to hold me in a camp to be analyzed. It's because you stay talking to them plants, Brandy. I like it. It wasn't terrible, but terrified I was as a child. Yes, Brandy, we were born doing this. Probably much better as children. Maybe. I feel like with children, we had the children, we had the power of the chaos, but we didn't have the power of organizing the chaos into something useful. And as we get older, we lose it. We like lose the power of the chaos and the power of the emotion and the raw juice of the feminine. We lose that and get more into orderly as adults and like rigidity and anywho. Alarani Noskintal, you've been looking into sidereal astrology. How far back are you in the live, Alarani Noskintal? Because we were talking about sidereal astrology like 25 minutes ago, which means by the time you hear me saying this, it will have been 25 minutes in the future. And what I can say from the future, oh, this time I can give future advice. No, it doesn't work that way, huh? Sorry, I can't give glimpses into the future in either direction, can I? Curse you, relativity. Curse you, Einstein. But me too, Alarani. Me too. I seen death as a gentleman. I imagine death as being. Huh. Death is a gentleman in the TV show Supernatural, where I get my YouTube channel name from. Death is wears a suit and he's very well spoken and well mannered. He don't take no shit, but he's well spoken and well mannered. I appreciate. Yeah. Yeah. How's everyone doing? Hello, everyone. My name's Keith. It's nice to see everyone. There's no such thing as death. Rachel, hello, Rachel. How's it going, Rachel? Thank you for the donation, by the way, Dee Dee. Thank you for the donation on sweetening the pot for reading. If you guys want to hear more readings, at this point, you might have to sweeten the pot with maybe a little bit of donation. No, I'm just kidding. I'm getting real cold. I mean, I will definitely read if someone drops a 20 spot or something like that, but I'm also at wits end. 1122, what up? I would love it if everyone hit the like button, though, if you haven't already. That would be wonderful. Whoops. Mermaids calling? What the heck is mermaids calling? You guys want to hear mermaids? Oak song? What's oak song? I'm gonna do oak song. This is interesting. Connect to your roots. Open the relationship with your spirit guides and ancestors for psychic abilities. Ooh, nice, Ela. Noted. I and I are the roots. You said blood is thicker than water. Wow. Ooh. Look at that. Some are leaves, shooby-doo. Some are branches, scooby-doo. I and I are the roots. Some are dry wood, shooby-doo. To cook their raw food, shooby-doo. Why, oh, look at that. Got to survive in this man-made mea. I and I are the roots. Rachel, the Oracle of Delphi said, know thyself and you will know the one that made you. Yes. Yes. What's a nicer word for um, adage, bromide, buzzword, buzzword. There you go. Uh, yeah. Do you use TikTok? It's where everyone is at. I do use TikTok, Belle dear, and oh my God, my growth on TikTok is light years ahead of YouTube. I think I went from 18,000 to 28,000 on TikTok in just a few months, which is where I've been this whole time, and why I haven't been on YouTube is because I've been on TikTok. But TikTok doesn't pay anything. Doesn't pay anything. Um, the average gift on TikTok that I would get in a live is like fractions of a penny. Um, the RPM or the CPM, which is how much I get paid, is something like 12 cents per thousand views. On YouTube, I'm usually at like $8 per thousand views, which is pretty good. So I get paid thousands of times more. The growth is awful on YouTube. I'm not gonna lie, the growth is awful on YouTube. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if the Archons are out to get me. I need to do some chaos magic rituals to unlock some stuff. Maybe I need to reorganize, do some blasphemous stuff. So maybe I can create some blasphemous content that are fitting to the channel, that are still within the context of the channel. Or maybe not. I don't know. Point being, I hear you. TikTok is dope. Maybe I'll do a TikTok live and do some readings. But yeah, it's a love-hate relationship with these social media platforms. My goal is, if I can get people, if anyone here wants to join the Patreon and support through the Patreon, that would be dope. Or leaving super chats. My idea is, moving forward, put more energy into YouTube because it pays better, and I tend to like the vibe of YouTube more than TikTok. TikTok makes me feel like an insane person half the time. I like YouTube better for the most part. And then maybe just really grow the fan base that I do have, and increase the Patreon members and increase the super chats, and somehow convert the success of a smaller channel on YouTube to be better than a larger channel on TikTok. Or funnel people from TikTok to YouTube, which I'm also trying to do. It's tough. This is you brought it up, which is why I'm rambling on it. But yeah, it's where I post my content is daily on my mind. How do I get the most bang for my buck? How do I reach the biggest audience? How do I have the most growth? How do I have the most organic growth and the most involved community? Like you guys who are being thoughtful, who aren't just speaking in cliches. Most of you aren't just like, well, I feel like, people who are going to say things of meaning, or who aren't just going to repeat shit that they've read, and who are going to have interesting conversations and nuanced conversations. And like, where do I go for that? Where do I go for that? And right now I'm going to YouTube. I was at TikTok because, like I said, the growth was so big. But even though I was like, okay, I've gotten 10,000 followers in a few months. That's amazing. But what is it translating to? It translates to nothing. It translates to almost nothing. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for bringing that up. Is your TikTok the same? I only follow you here. TikTok is underscore a man of letters. And I think is my actual @ is underscore a man of letters. And plants and sorcery is like the title I go by. And mostly I plant a lot of plant stuff with my spiritual stuff. Mostly plant stuff because I was gardening hard this year. So I was doing how to make homemade fish fertilizers, how to ferment your own homemade fertilizers for free, how to build soil, how to run a worm farm, the mechanics behind photosynthesis, the mechanics behind auxiliary pigments in plants, and how like nerdy science botanical shit. I love that too. So I was doing big things on that aspect. Biochar, I was making biochar, and I had a shop on TikTok where I was slanging biochar. So I actually made at least over $1,000 on TikTok on slanging products on But I would also get banned all the time. Like I would get banned. I've had so many lives shut down on TikTok because I was talking about, the effect of black walnut husk, and how it gets rid of parasites. And my channel got shut down for a week because none of it was scientifically backed. And I sent them the peer-reviewed reports from PubMed. I was like, here's the screenshots, here's the authors, here's the exact text that I pulled from that says the mechanism of action that this juglone extract has on parasites. And they were like, we reviewed your information and it still violates guidelines. You can't say things that aren't medically verified or like scientifically verified. I was just like, fuck those guys. You know what I mean? So I'm actually super turned out. TikTok sucks, dude. You're a bunch of bastards over there. What up, YouTube? Oh, we just got a new channel member. Rachel. Thank you, Rachel, for joining the Letters Squad. Thank you so much. Yeah, because I just need my YouTube channel to be big enough to pay for like rent. To you know what I mean? I don't need to make millions. I don't need to make 600-700K like the big YouTubers. I don't need a downtown LA flat for my YouTube channel. It doesn't need to be that big. I need like, I think if I had 100K YouTubers subscribers, I think that would do it. That would translate to like 20 to 30 bucks per video that I post, times 30. 2 times 3, that's 6. That's what's... No, that's not that. See, even that's not that much. Anywho, I'm doing the math all the time. Trust me. At this point in the game, I'm like, okay, I've got a family to take care of, and I live in one of the most expensive places in the world. All right, we gotta put the pedal to the metal, Captain, as they say. But thank you, Rachel, so much for joining becoming a channel member. Thank you so much. But yeah, feel free to follow me over there if you guys want. Random advice for the day: never trust a fart. Good luck in this crew. Oh, thank you, Chris. I trust them far more often than I should. I've actually been trusting them way too much lately. I feel like I might be doomed if I keep this up. Bell dear. When I was blown up, I didn't know what happened. I bet, Rusty. Brandy, welcome back. Hopefully people will follow you here from TikTok. I hope so too. You can technically get away with some infringement on TikTok. So super short book reviews, it would need to be very short. Noted. Yeah, you remember Never Ending Story? Oh, I love that movie. I love Story. Story. Should we have a movie night, you guys? You know what I miss doing on this channel a lot was running background lives where I'm not talking, I'm just live with something in the background, but doing it at the same time with the rest of the squad. I think the last time we did that was last winter, and I put on the Bashar talk with just a Man of Letters background screen, and we kicked it and chatted and like had dinner and we're merrymaking and shit like that. Didn't want the information out. Yeah. I saw someone was saying, oh, they only want to ban TikTok because TikTok is where people can go to get real information. And that's not true. TikTok is the most lethal when it comes to banning content. This creator I follow who posts stuff that's like, whoa, he posts things where it's like, whoa, this is our reality. Our world is effed up. This is awful. I can't believe they're doing this. I can't believe they're getting away with this. This is awful. Like, how could they allow this? He would post stuff like that on Instagram. He showed it. Like, this is the video. I posted it to my Instagram. All of them go through. And he's like, these are all my banned videos on TikTok. Look. And way more. Exponentially more videos were banned on TikTok of the same exact content than on Instagram. So the whole, oh, they were trying to ban TikTok because they wanted to, stifle the truth, is not true at all. It's not. I don't know what sort of sorcery the reptilians are up to in this current cycle, but it's definitely certainly not what meets the eye. Not what meets the eye. Would you be able to do a live with Shira again? That's how I felt. Oh, I would love to. Yo, so someone, so there's a one of my followers knows Ashira well. They're like internet homies, and I keep up with her well. Like I talk to her like on regular social media. She's sending me memes and shit. Not Ashira, but the homegirl. And what she told me one time, this was at least a couple years ago, a year and a half, 2 years ago, that Shiro went somewhat dark side and was like had this everyone's out to get me mentality, and I was lumped into the, I don't know if I was like, she saw me as a energetic entity out to get her in a way. I don't know, or like or a physical one, like I can't remember the conversation, but point being, I was on her bad list. I was like, Shira, for real? I would love to do a live with her. Oh my god, I would super love to do a live with Shira. I got so like I need to do that. I should reach out. I've emailed her. I've texted her. We were on texting basis at one point, but um, I don't think she likes me anymore. She was like, "Don't worry." It was a few people in her realm that she met on YouTube, and in her some people that she met in her life through her practices, whether it was YouTube or the internet or circles where she was in the spiritual realm. She cut them out because they were like she thought there were dark entities out to get her. And I was like, damn, that's unfortunate. So I would like to do another live with Q. Q Reeves sent me a message the other day like we gotta do a live. I would love to link up with Q. I need to do that. That's part of my new YouTube growth strategy from this point forward is way more lives with people. People in general and more noteworthy people like Ashira who have big followings, Q who's got a big following. It's just some people in the I can't vibe with a lot of people in this realm because some people are just off their rocker. I'm like, I get it, the headiness side of spirituality, but it's like, dude, I can't hang with you. Some people, I'm like, there's no way I could do a live with that person. We would be fighting. I would call them out on like so much stuff. Some people would just be like, do you know what you're saying? Or are you just talking out of your ass right now? And I was like, so that limits me a lot. Conjure Queen is one I want to talk to. She's homies. I like her content. I've been meaning to reach out to her. Something tells me she'd be super down. She's got a following of over 100,000. So she might be too big league for me. But if you guys know anyone or follow anyone, or you're just as homies on their lives as you are with me, like Rachel, if like we've developed a sort of bond over our lives and videos. If you have another YouTuber or any of you other guys you're like, oh, you should talk to my boy Keith. Set me up. I need your help. Help her brother out is what I'm getting at. I'll take all the help I can get. All of it. I'll try, Belle Deer 24. I will try. Here, yes, you do. Yes, you do. That's your movie. That's your movie. Oh, thanks, Ela. Thanks, man. I love you, chat. Yes, dude, the hidden esoteric and all of it, especially video games. Well, I'll reach out again, Belle Deer 24. I'll reach out again like nothing ever happened. I'll be like, I miss you. What's up, my girl? Let's run a live. Let's bring knowledge to the people. And I have her cell phone number. I'll text her when we get done and see if we can set something up. Also, everyone, yes, if you're not subscribed, we have 13 people. Are you all 13 subscribers? Because if you are all subscribed, that's dope. That's great. That's actually makes me happy that the algorithm is sending it out to my subscribers. We do challenge the books. We take the half chew here. We do. All right. I love her channel, although her content has changed a lot. Yeah, her content's not my content by any means. She's like, get that money, cast that magic, get that dude sprung on you and get him to give you all your money, sprinkle, sprinkle. That's a little too, it's a little too dark side for me. Her it works. You know what I mean? The power of the Sith Lord works by all means. I try not to dabble in it in myself as much as possible. but also she speaks to like the women who want money from men, and I'm not a woman who wants money from men. So not only is it like Sith Lord stuff that I'm not into, I'm also not a man trying to get money from a dude, which at least a couple years ago was all she made money on, and all her questions and all her chat room when I was in the chats, it was like it was centered around that. I was like, all right, that's cool. Not really my demographic, but run it. You know what I mean? So yeah. I didn't have the amalgam of two words. Ahi. Ahi means one without blemish. It's funny because I've been eating a lot of ahi tuna lately. Delicious ahi tuna lately. The one who was. It's 5:44. I wonder if Bacalli's is still open. I'm about to take. Is it weird? I want to ask again if it is weird. Is it weird if I ask to chat for 20 bucks so I can take my family to Bacalli's and not feel that guilty for doing it? Because I definitely shouldn't be taking my family out to eat right now in this economy, but I also might do it regardless because I feel like driving into the mountains right now and catching a Bacalli's vibe, which is a bougie Italian restaurant that's got Shire vibes, like string lights, lanterns hanging from oak trees, homemade pizzas, and like tasty beers in the mountains. Anywho, Brandy, I have to head out. Oh, happy Thanksgiving to you, and likewise, Rusty. Also, if you don't agree with me, I'm not the mole. I have a whole different experience. It's one of the forms of passive evolution. You guys have a good night. Okay. If you are new, please subscribe. If you enjoyed the content, and you have the means and of course the motivation and of course the means, and you want to donate, that's awesome. I have a Patreon in the description. You can become a channel member or a super chat. You can also like and subscribe, leave a comment, share the content on your favorite platforms. That's also really helpful. Spread, getting us into different sectors are good ways of explosive overnight growth. You know what I mean? All of it helps. So, and just being here. You guys are watching it to the end, like, oh my God, you guys are fucking the real MVPs. So Brandy, Ela, I hope I've been pronouncing that right. Ela, Rusty, Lady Brandy, Beldeer, Rachel, of course. Who else we got in here? Who else am I missing? Thank you, Rachel, for becoming a channel member. Thank you so goddamn much. Chris, thank you for the... Oh, Rusty, I didn't... It wasn't supposed to be from you, though. You support so much, Rusty. But thank you. Also, I don't want to disgrace you. So thank you. So much. My goodness, thank you so much, dude. Seriously. And someone else. Rachel, was that you also? Oh, Rachel. I'm going to screenshot this. I'm pretty sure this is the most donation I've ever received in a live ever. So I just screenshotted it. Thank you guys for making my wildest dreams come true. Ela, I don't know if you're new or not, but I appreciate everything you contributed substantially. So I hope to see you again. Get that good tuna. There's no tuna at Bacalli's. I'll get a good something, and I'll post a picture of it. Thank you guys. I love y'all. Also known as Dave. That's right. Thank you. I'll be on soon. Oh, tomorrow's Thanksgiving, so Thanksgiving to everyone. Maybe I'll see you Friday. I don't know. I'll see you soon. Love you guys. Good night. I'll see you soon. Bye.